Welcome, everybody. Here we are tonight with the Boston Blue Beat Online Guilty Gear Tournament. I am the Doctor, and I am being joined by none other than Brad, Meteorologist Masters, here on the desk here tonight. And boy, are we excited to be back for you people.
Yes, it's true. You see, we had a high pressure system move in, and there was risk of some inclement weather. But as it turns out, even inclement weather is willing to respect the sanctity of the grind. And so we are here uninterrupted, unfazed by Hurricane Henry. He got DQ'd at the door. He did not show his vaccination card. So instead, we can continue to bring you guys this Guilty Gear Strive. Although now that I've said that, I definitely jinxed it. It is 100% going to hit again. I am going to lose power somewhere during this stream.
Nah. It's all in the West. We're good. We're dedicated right in the middle, so we're pretty storm insulated here. Thankfully.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. You are you live comparatively close to me. Close enough, in fact, that I'm immediately like, why have we never just gone to the same place to commentate together? How is that a thing that's only occurring to me now?
Yeah, I actually had that thought earlier today, where I was like, I could just go to Brad's house and commentate. Like, we could just hang out and do this whole shebang. But hasn't happened yet. Sometime soon, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten to commentate with you offline we did the one PCG a month or two ago.
A couple of months ago.
Oh my God, time is a weird circle.
It's a construct. That's all it is.
Much like frame data, much like we've constructed this bracket, we are hitting you with the Swiss bracket action today. Everybody's gonna play everybody. Super Smash Brothers style. Everyone is here looking at who we have in the bracket. We've got ProtoJay, A3R, Ragnell345, MilkyJ, Oni NYC, Aerodat, and Toy Story. I'm assuming P2W is, a moniker at the beginning, and I'm gonna go with Toy Story is what we want to call them by. But a short, sweet Swiss bracket here, which means we just get to throw you all the great games.
Yep. Lots of people here tonight, at least in our hearts. But no, Swiss is great. Swiss is a ton of fun because, like you said, everybody plays everybody and everybody wins in a sense, except for the person that goes 0-6. That person, doesn't win anything.
You know what? Here's what's gonna happen. Whoever goes 0-6 in this bracket, or 0, whatever the biggest losing score is, they will get a personal shout out. The online participation trophy, as it were. We will show extra love.
That's always a tough spot to go, because like if you go to a normal tournament, double elimination, the worst you can do is 0-2, right? Like that doesn't sound so bad. You're like, yeah, I got a bad break, 0-2'd out. I'll be back next week. When you go to a Swiss bracket and you go 0-6, you're just like, nope, can't
Look,
play
man,
this off.
If Perfect Legend can recover from going 13-0 in a first to 10, then it doesn't matter how many L's you take in a Swiss bracket. It's all about, the reality is the best thing about Swiss, I think, is like, it's great just to get more experience of what it is like to play in a tournament setting. I think, as much as you want to compete, as much as you want to, inflate the value of like net play or ladder play or all of that stuff, the reality is when you sit down and play somebody in an actual tournament, stuff hits different. And making that adjustment and being able to compete with that weight on you is a whole different sort of vibe that you need to get acclimated to. We're acclimating to Guilty Gear Strive. If you did not know what game we were playing, it is on the screen. Ragnell345 versus Aerodat Soul Mirrors.
This is actually a matchup I haven't seen in a while, because I haven't watched a lot of Soul players, thankfully. The last couple brackets I've commentated actually didn't even have Soul players, believe it or not.
Were you in the Upside Down?
No, it's just people.
Tell me about Barb. Tell me about Barb.
She's gone, man. Dead and gone, never forgotten. But what we may forget is this introduction, as we are going to see both players trying to find out and trying to figure out what the game plan is right now.
Yeah, you see they're already really dancing around each other in the neutral, a lot of respect for the different tools that they have, because when one of them gets into that range 0, that's it. It's like, cool, now you have to deal with the game. Fafnir, early burst from Aerodat, does not want to deal with that offense in the corner.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of early bursts because you're going to build it back eventually. This time, though, you may not get the chance to at least stay on this side of the wall. Early break means you do survive, you get one more chance, and as Soul Bad Guy, you can definitely exploit that chance into some big damage or potentially a comeback.
Oh my god. Air
Or that could
dash
happen.
into a super late falling JP, it looks like. I mean, you tend to expect that we're gonna get like JS or JH, but nope, super late one. Full charge dust on Wake Up, catches him in the air. We are not gonna burn the burst. That's a lot of damage to eat, but I guess you're up around, so you know you can afford to let this happen.
Yeah,
Flash on the DP.
I think the cost of getting burst baited in the air is super high as well. So holds on to it, does get it Gurn back there on the side of Ragnar. But look at this, DP, RRC, side swap air combo, that's sick.
Right, yeah, the far slash trades with the Gunflame ends up working out favorably here for Aerodat. Or, I'm sorry, not Aerodat, Ragnar. It's a Soul player.
Oh man, success again, gonna connect into Gunflame. That time, no juggle property, so we're just back to the wall. Gotta make sure we get our far S's in though. Can't give that up.
Okay. Wild throw in the, oh man, the Gunflame PRC trades favorably with the DP. A lot of respect for the pokes from Aerodat and approaching on Ragnar here, like the dash into FD. Oh no, Fafnir connects at the tip. One thing that we're seeing is it looks like Ragnar is trying to cycle in like SDP, just because I think Aerodat is being much more active on the ground. A lot more of this Fafnir as sort of like the go-to poke. You know, cycling it as the max range option to maneuver around everything. And it looks like the SDP is kind of the answer of like, all right, well, I'll just invuln through all of this and move on with my life. And
embodied by Spectator. Yeah, we have.
oh yeah, no, actually bodied. I guess we don't get to see how this one ends.
That's true. Is this best of 2 or best of 3 in the Swiss bracket? I suppose it says on the website.
I'm double checking. It does not clarify.
Not. Must be wired though. So no Ethernet players here today.
Yeah. Well, the voice of God will tell us eventually whether this is first to 2 or first to 3 all the way through. My guess would be first to 2, because I feel like BBB tends to prefer first to 2 outside of top 3. But given that it's a Swiss bracket, and given that it's a denser player turnout, maybe we have the time first to 3. So you know that is a question for them to make. It looks like if we commentate the life bars, Aerodat took the first round. It looks like. Unless we're gonna make them replay this game so that we can watch it.
Oh man, that'd be brutal. Hey, I know you just won and all, but do it again. Yeah, so chat is saying 2-3. So okay, that does make a lot of sense.
That's what we did for CS. Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I actually pulled up the numbers here to talk about your Fafnir point, because you were mentioning how he's trying to use it as like the fishing poke tool. Because I was like, man, that feels like it would be kind of unsafe, like just to throw out in neutral. Because like if you do get spaced out properly, I feel like it's mad punishable. There's 16 frames of recovery on that, but you're plus 11 on block. So I guess it's not as bad of a fishing tool as I would have thought. But
look, this man has privilege. Saul has
privilege.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just
like you looked at this tool and you were like, "There's no way it can actually work that way." I was like, yeah, it can.
Yeah, I think it's just the on-hit properties that I feel like are a little lacking, because like you can RRC it and do some funky stuff off of that, but without meter, it doesn't really link into a whole lot. So
I don't think the intention of Fafnir, especially with the way that Aerodat was using it, I don't think the intention is for it to be a party starter. I think the intention is for it to be your like, I'm gonna bypass neutral, and whether you get hit by it or block it, I now have plus frames, and I'm, sort of in this spot where, I don't have to move around your tools to be able to start playing footsies. I'm already inside and can start doing stuff. So the side effect of that in the Soul Mirror, obviously, is that if Fafnir gets blocked or gets hit, Aerodat, as the one who had Fafnir, has the right of way in terms of far slash, as it were. Which that move is the party starter for Soul, right? Like so much of his game plan relies around like the mind game of, is far slash going to be a frame trap, a stagger, or are we going to finish the chain into gunflame?
We're just gonna mash it.
Oh, well, sure. Well, that's I said stagger. I was trying to present it in a slightly more positive light. But yeah, you know, you can also just kind of do it over and over again.
But yep, so we do see, I believe that was Aerodat taking it 2-0, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And that's what
Ragnall did
Challenge-
say in chat that Ragnall believes that they are likely to be the 06 player. I hope not. I'm pulling for you, Ragnall. I like the adjustment that you made with the SDP. It doesn't even necessarily seem as though, granted, we only got to see the first game. We unfortunately missed out on that second game. But I don't know that it's like the SDPs were getting, you know, baited or called out in so much as it was just that they were clashing in unfortunate situations, and Aerodat was ready to press after the clash, and you were still just kind of stuck, you know? So it's not
unblocked.
It's not necessarily
-22.
right.
It's
SDP?
pretty negative. Yeah.
SDP doesn't get blocked. You do SDP in a spot where it's gonna whiff, and then they're like, cool, I'm gonna hit you, and somehow you just like didn't have landing recovery frames and you block it anyway.
Or you just RC it and you're safe again.
Also a possibility. It was funny, I commentated Rev 2 yesterday, and seeing the, you know, multiple ticks of meter, even though like it felt like there were 4 delineations of it. I'm woefully unfamiliar with Rev 2, in case anybody who might be watching right now is like, why would you be surprised at the meter management of Rev 2? But it somehow felt as though there was more meter available at any given time.
Yeah. Which is possible. I'm not super familiar with Rev 2 outside of just watching it at tournaments.
I think there's more to spend it on, right? Because like there's the dead angle or the blowback or whatever. I think a dead angle is the term in Strive. I was thinking blowback yesterday, but I think that's the KOF term. The alpha counter, effectively. Like, it's just, there's different ways to spend the meter where I think it's a lot more homogenized in this game, where you're either spending it on a super or you're spending it on an RC, and that's it.
Yeah. Right now we do just have our RCs. I guess technically we have FD too, which is super meaningful in a lot of matchups. But I feel like it doesn't get as much traction. I still can't spell match right now, Brad. Which is a good transition into, if you guys at home do have a minute and you know how to spell, unlike me, considering I've spelled it match or
Macheno.
Yeah, there we go. I got it, guys. I got it.
That's actually Macheno is actually a new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character.
Oh, I'd believe that because I don't watch that anime. But yeah, so
you don't watch any good anime either, so
that's hurtful. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer.
Okay. You got some love for the Boogie Woogie.
Yeah. Speaking of which, mad excited for Jujutsu Kaisen movie coming out soon, and the Demon Slayer movie was godlike, so we in there.
I have not watched Demon Slayer, but I am gonna watch MilkyJ versus ProtoJay. Oh my God, Battle of the Jays! Who gets to maintain the supremacy of the alphabetical letter?
The loser has to change to L. I guess technically K would be the next in succession, but
no.
L
L is thematically appropriate.
Exactly. But this is actually a really fun matchup. Giovanna going up against Kai Kisuke. I feel like these characters have similar game plans, right? Where they just kind of overwhelm you, get you to the corner, take advantage of their plus frames, and try and just bait you into pushing something so you can do more damage to them. And it's just going to be a matter of who can get that off first, I feel.
I think part of the difficulty is, I mean, Kai has, on paper, Kai has better limbs, but in practice, Giovanna, with the Kara cancels into her limbs, kind of has better use of the space than Kai does. I think the difference is, like, Kai has a more conventional, you know, GG facing Oki game where, like, you get the knockdown into heavy fireball versus, you know, where Giovanna is like, you're gonna stagger the string and they're either gonna be watching for the special move that gets plus frames, or you're gonna get away with it. Getting away with this first round pretty clean is MilkyJ as he gets ProtoJay into the corner, indeed looking like the prototype version of Jay.
Cute little puppy Ray, looking all good, good boy. just grinding away into the dirt. Oh, it's a huge counter to start the round with. Tried to
Unfortunately,
double
did not
dash.
leave.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big button because you can get stuff from after.
No, that 5K check off of, fishing for some plus frames with so much respect from ProtoJay. And now we get the OTG reset into the mix-up after the fact. Also very common from Geo. Pumping that wrist gauge, gets away with the plus frames. Whiff on the 5S.
Yeah, just a bit too far. Didn't get the dash version of it, but again, that slash button is just so good. It's so good. You buy so much pressure. It is slightly advancing too, so you saw them able to keep pushing it, and then at a certain point, you're just going to dash up and get the grab.
Yeah, I feel like ProtoJay unfortunately just kind of didn't get the chance to start. You know, that first game was a little bit scrambly and then it ended. And then that second game just kind of very rapidly ended up in the corner and never really swung out, which is surprising. I mean, Kai has a proper DP. Kai has, you know, these buttons that are capable of, you know, trying to contest in the space, but definitely felt as though they were smothered a little bit by what MilkyJ was bringing to the table.
Yeah, they do need to find a spot to challenge a lot of those buttons. That corner that they were just dealing with is really problematic. That's a great start there. You know, ripping the DP doesn't have a lot to do afterwards, but it puts it in the back of MilkyJ's mind that I will bust out. I will use the tools available to me, and you can't just depress me.
Okay, we got 2D into Fireball. All right, the offense is starting. Goes for a frame trap after 5K, but MilkyJ does not respect it, has to burst. Does ProtoJay finally finds the whiff punish on the spiral arrow. I know some people get upset that we're calling that, but I'm sorry, it's a spiral arrow.
It's a little different, but I couldn't tell you how. I just know that Twitter's very mad about it. So we're going to get the grab, still alive by 1. Just kidding. Does get the OTG, I believe.
Look, all I know is I have never once called green hand banishing flat, except right now.
Alright, that's fair. But look at that. Using the non-DP DP. That's another thing people not super happy about, but that actual DP.
Do you want to scare a Marvel player? They're all functions. Oh, okay. Early JS to contest this airspace now, and ProtoJay probably in the best position has had in a while. Here's one problem I think ProtoJay is having. There's a lot of 2P mash that is working out, but is not having the ability to maximize it in anything. Maximum wake up CA, but it somehow gets blocked, and we're gonna get the punish ProtoJay with a round on the board. Yeah, there's a lot of these like 2P mashes, but it's not really working out into anything. Even to go into just like I don't know the name of the move either, but the quick overhead slash that you could even just put the shock state on block if nothing else, or consume the block state, shock state into some sort of frame advantage after the fact. Gets the cross up. Oh, full charge 5D whips, and now we're back in the corner.
Using that 2D very effectively, gets out of the corner, burst baits him too. Should be able to get something down. Just gets a little bit of corner pressure. Full charge doesn't take it to the skies though. Doesn't need to. Has the wall combo and closes it out cleanly.
Yeah, so MilkyJ takes it 2-0 over ProtoJay, and I just can't help but feel like ProtoJay never really got the opportunity to play what I assume they would want from their game, right? Like, most of ProtoJay's game was relegated to either 2P mash, which reset back to neutral, and then we kind of turned it into a scramble instead of taking any sort of advantage from it, or 2K 2D and then opening up the Fireball game. But there wasn't really a whole lot of very strong mix after the fact, which is, in theory, one of the problems that Kai has. You know,
yeah.
Kai can set up Oki, sure, but the layers aren't necessarily there. You know, a lot of the work that we've seen done with Kai in terms of the Oki game is on establishing like blue RC mix. I think a lot of the more saucy stuff we see from Kai is in blue RC fuzzy stuff. Otherwise, it's a lot of, you know, single hit into Ride the Lightning and just ensuring that every time you do get a hit, you're taking chunks. And we never saw any of that, in part because Kai's best buttons were entirely bypassed by the way that MilkyJ was able to play the ground game.
Yeah, and that's where Giovanna's going to excel. She's great at the ground game. She has good buttons, and if you're not on point with your interruptions and your turn take backs, she's just going to run you over. And so, you know, Kai does struggle a little bit. We'll have to see how the upcoming balance changes kind of shake up the game. But it is, I always get a little concerned, Brad, I'm going to be honest with you, when they do balance changes and introduce a character. Because I feel like there's a lot of room there where the new character can kind of fall apart because they're not able to gain any traction with their own game in the new world. That said, they're hopefully nerfing Soul, so it's a whole new world for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like Soul needs a very slight tweak, in my opinion. I feel like you can have a soft touch with Soul as he exists right now, and it'll be fine. I'm honestly not even sure, at least for the near term. Maybe long term we end up needing more, but I think you very minorly tweak Soul. Honestly, I feel like if you touch his 5k in one of two ways, that might actually do it. Either change the startup or change the way that it works for jump cancel or juggle properties so that you can take away some of his ridiculous combo routes that he gets by way of 5k as a juggle route. And then give Anji and maybe Faust the slightest bit of love. And I think you can let that version rock for a while. Because I do still think that it's early to be treating anything about this game as deterministic.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is I think they just have to change Soul's damage output, because the thing is, like, Soul players love doing their combos. The fact that they kill is like secondary, because from what I understand, they're actually fun combos to do. And like, that's the important part, is like, do you have fun playing the character? Yes. Do you need to be TODing people off of 5k? No. So just adjust the damage down to a more reasonable level. Let the players do the sick ass combos, and let the other team actually, the other player actually have like a chance to respond. So that's my thought. I do think that Laust and Anji could use a little bit of love, just in terms of, you know, frame data. Don't make them monsters, but, you know, make the players, you know, actually get to play the game.
Yeah, and if y'all want to play the game, obviously you're watching Boston Blue Beat right now, but we have more coming. After this match, we'll tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that Boston Blue Beat has coming down the pipe in terms of their monthlies or bigger, because Boston Blue Beat has their eyes set on some big events. But first, we got to hit you with Ragnell versus Oni. Oni on the Ramlethal.
Man.
Yeah, this is a character that's been, you know, played a lot. People are really loving the way the character works in this game, unless you play older games, and in which case it's very different. But I mean, playing around the sword pressure is literally make or break for you. Some characters just don't really have an option, and so far, Ragnell just is not having a fun time.
Yeah, so it's funny, right? You talk about how much love she's gotten, but here's one of the things that I find interesting. I feel like a lot of Ram players, you know, Ram fell off in the way that I think we hoped Sol would, where her day one game plan was sort of solved a little bit, in that her corner game is great and incredibly burst safe, as Ragnall is looking on the verge of answering back with a perfect himself. Oh no, Oni bursts. You did not need to. You were up the round. Perfect on perfect. I dare say we can call that a Cali burst. One round apiece. Ragnall going to get the burst back comparatively quickly. Has to chain into the 2D. Not has to, I'm sorry. Chooses to, does Oni. And now you have to respect this sword pressure in the corner. You up backed when you should have down backed. I am sorry, my guy.
See you on the other side.
All right, the burst is back here for Ragnall. DP gets baited, has to spend the burst immediately. Is Oni gonna close this out? Oh my god, nothing but perfects in this round. Nobody enjoys down back. Everybody is appreciating every cardinal direction that is not 4 or 1 on your number pad. What I was going to say is, I think Ram is a character who day one was obviously incredibly strong, but I think a lot of Ram players are finding her a little bit lacking in a couple of problem matchups as the game has developed. There's a couple of Ram players that are now looking at this and they're like, wow, Nagoriyuki is actually Ram, but better.
That is a take I had not heard, but what I did hear is that Gold Burst mid-screen not connecting. But Ragnall still making it work, takes him to the corner. Lots of hits coming up here, but interruption coming through. Gonna get Oni, trying to go screen to screen. That grab, I'm surprised. I don't know why that didn't hit. Must have been some of those savior frames on Wake Up.
Oh my god, the second hit of the Rekka connects and we have the PRC. The wall break is going to happen and we cash out enough damage before the wall break that the wall break ends up killing, and Oni is on set point now. But Ragnar has burst despite burning that. Wait a minute, Ragnar burned that gold burst hella early, didn't they? Why is it back already?
Yeah. When you get hit a lot, it comes back. It's just what you do. Goes for the burst one more time, trying to buy some pressure. But you can see that Ragnar looks a little scared to try and play into this, short game, because the damage that Oni can do is so high. And once you get caught up in the mix, you are in the blender. But we're gonna go through the sky. No burst available, so you do have to hold that. This is gonna be sick.
Right, not a whole lot of damage, but we get some critical corner carry. Is this technically a safe jump? Are we getting to block? No, we are not. In fact, we are going to get to die as Ragnar closes out the round. One round apiece here.
Staying alive for one more time, has the opportunity to really tie up the series.
Yeah, you can tell by the way she used her walk, she's a Valentine. Don't laugh at that. That was awful. Catches with the 2K in the post-throw non-shimmy shimmy. Oh, unfortunately, accidental side switch. Ragnar spends the burst. Wake up super. It does connect. Ragnar with precious little life, and the back throw is going to do it. Is that a perfect as well? Neither one of these players wanted anything to do with blocking, which, as our European friends say, blocking is low tier. It does no damage. It could not be better demonstrated than right here.
What's crazy is this, there was the ground throw the round before that, and I was like, man, that was literally right there. Why doesn't it connect? That was a long distance air grab to close out the round. So that is going to be Oni taking it 2-0 once again.
Yeah. I appreciate Oni
sick.
making that quick so that my segue previously about setting up our future Boston Blue Beats events did not land impotently, because Boston Blue Beat has more coming down the pipe. In fact, we got three big things to talk to y'all about. First of all, offline FGC is back, and it can stay as long as y'all get vaccinated and wear your masks. If/and you're vaccinated, I'm pretty sure we should all just be wearing them anyway. But the point is, on September 25th, Boston Blue Beat is running their next offline local. It is happening at Platinum City Gaming instead of Balance Patch, for those of you who are local or like to turn out. This is a change of venue. This is not a regular change of venue, but it is assuredly happening for September 25th, running such games as Strive, BBCF, Guilty Gear, Plus R, and Rev 2, Uniclear, Melty, and Grand Blue. I got to commentate Melty for the first time yesterday, and that was interesting. Almost as interesting as what we got running for you for Neo Reloaded, because Boston Blue Beat decided that it was not enough to run their own event. They decided to partner with the other New England online facing entities and hit you guys with the biggest, the best amount of sauce. September 18 and 19, very shortly forthcoming. Guilty Gear Strive, Plus R, BBCF, Street Fighters 4 and 5, and Tekken 7, with partnerships with Kaiten Books and Red Bull, which I know they're very excited to be talking about. Kaiten Books, in fact, is providing manga for the top 3 of each of the brackets, and you should make sure that you follow them for your manga needs or check out their websites. And the new stuff that everyone's really excited about is they announced yesterday Boston Blue Beat Extend. Boston Blue Beat has decided to put on a big 2-day regional event. They have Balance Patch to themselves for 2 days. If any of y'all have been to Balance Patch before, you know that usually the FGC is relegated to the back half of the room because Balance Patch is a LAN cafe. But for January 8th and 9th of 2022, all of Balance Patch is nothing but anime fighters with Boston Blue Beat in the driver's seat. BBCF, BB Tag, Guilty Gears, Xrd, Plus R, and Strive. Both versions of Melty, your current version and the new version that is forthcoming. Uniclear and Them's Fighting Herds and Skullgirls. New titles to Boston Blue Beat that they are very excited to be bringing y'all. That is once again January 8th and 9th of 2022, and I know they're super excited to be bringing that for y'all. We got to announce that yesterday, and that was super cool.
That was a lot of shilling, Brad. You should take a beverage drink.
I have my water next to me.
That is a ton of good news. This is actually the first I've heard of the January event. Super excited for everybody at Boston Blue Beat, because that is a huge, huge deal. Because, like Brad said, Balance Patch, it's a great LAN center, but sometimes we feel like we're in the back of the club. Now we get to enjoy the whole breadth of it. That's going to be a huge, 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 huge event. And I know that everybody that shows up is going to have a great time, because every time I show up, I know I have a good time. That's great.
So all that tells me is that you did not read the document that was linked to you if you didn't know about January.
No,
Exposing Doctor.
No, I literally read the document, but when you look at the document that we have, it doesn't actually say anything about having the entire venue to their self. Oh, it does. It literally does.
Yep.
We've got the
It's
entire
in literally
venue.
full caps. Entire is in full caps and 2 days is in full caps.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what? At least I know it's Korenzic's birthday. Okay, Brad? Come on now.
There we go. You found the one thing that I didn't touch on. Happy birthday, Korenzic.
All right, but yes. Anyway, that's a ton of gaming. That is a huge amount of gaming.
It's a lot of gaming. There's a lot of, in particular. So like I said, I got my first real exposure to Melty yesterday, and what a game. I know a lot of people have a lot of love for that game, and it's definitely getting much more attention, either by way of the fact that, like, obviously with online, people are already at their PCs. You might as well play it, but it's getting a new version. I know East Coast Throwdown announced their in-studio show in October, and that is going to have Melty as well. Like, Melty is on the up and up, it looks like.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to teach me Melty, if anyone wants to teach me Melty, I got my first foray into it yesterday, but that cast is massive, and a whole lot of people played V Scion and Celial, is that her name? So I only saw a short foray into the cast. F Roa. Okay, so I know F means full. I don't know who Roa is. I didn't see any variation of Roa yesterday, and it's entirely possible that there's more than one version of that character, because I have been made aware that Scion has multiple versions in the cast, as does another character who I know one version is Vermilion. And I immediately wanted to criticize, and then halfway through I was like, wait a minute, how many Gokus are there in Dragon Ball FighterZ? I can't say a damn thing.
But like, he's the face of, the series.
Well, sure, but Melty is based on a visual novel. So, like,
yeah,
there's also, it would be like if there was a Fate Stay Night series, and you're like, oh my god, why are there so many archers? And it's like, well, because there's like more than one of them.
Okay, that's fair. Because I was gonna say, like, man, like, what would be a Dragon Ball game if you had like all the versions of like Piccolo, where you had like pre-nail Piccolo, and you had like Demon Lord Piccolo, and then you had like the Piccolo that we have, or you had like.
Right, but you're describing Goku.
Yeah,
like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just Goku. GT, like, Goku's privileged.
No, Goku and Vegeta.
Man, people were very mad about Vegeta this week because I think.
Oh, because his new form. I'm sorry, though. I saw the panels isolated of him revealing like the new form. There is nothing more abridged series Vegeta than, quote, you might as well call this form Ultra Ego. Like, it's as if Toriyama watched the abridged series and forgot that that's not his own work.
So, like, wait, so I got super confused because I thought people were talking about the anime, because I thought the dubbed version was catching up to like the Tournament Power arc.
I have no idea. No,
they were mad that the manga
been done for a while, because I watched the English version of the finale, and I remember they translated the song that plays during the group universe beatdown on Jiren, and I was so mad that they redubbed it, and I wanted it to stay in JP, because the English dub, I'm sure the people who worked on it did a great job and were very proud of it. It did not land the same for me.
All right, so then I didn't know that. So all right, so it's a manga showing that they were mad about.
Assume.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Vegeta sucks, and I feel bad for Vegeta fans, but
them's fighting words. You just pissed off everybody that edits the Lancer page of TV tropes.
Like, listen, that's fair, because it's just like he tries so hard and he just can't get anywhere.
He tries so hard, he gets so far. In the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because Goku. That's what it is. So I feel bad for Vegeta fans. I just don't know what they're expecting, right?
Look, it's hard to feel bad for Vegeta fans as a Gohan fan. They handed him the reins of the show for like one time skip.
Don't even get me started. Gohan, my favorite Dragon Ball character, bar none, and they've done him so dirty by turning him into a nerd. It's so frustrating.
So you're saying Vegeta is an edgy teen from the early 2000s? Of course! Have you, like, AMV, like, YouTube exists because of Dragon Ball AMVs. Half of, like, Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace, and Three Doors Down, and Dragon Ball are like why YouTube was allowed to exist. It transitioned from that into Naruto and Bleach, and then YouTube was allowed to exist.
It's so true. Man, do they even make like? Can you imagine like a Attack on Titan AMV? I'm sure they exist.
No, I can't. I actually can't.
Like I'm sure it exists, but it's not the vibe anymore.
Okay, I'm opening the floodgates now because we're waiting for these matches, so everybody gets to appreciate. Let's see, Attack on Titan AMV. I feel like AMV is a lost art.
What happens if you just search AMV in general?
I don't know, but I know the third entry is Seven Nation Army, and I appreciate that we're letting some early to mid 2000s rock. Where Forensic says, I was barely alive for that era. Thanks for making me feel old. Every now and again, I'm reminded of how long I've been around in the FGC.
Yeah, you are pretty old, Brad.
Aren't you? You're only marginally younger than me.
That's true. Speaking of old, you want to know what I spent my Sunday doing? I went to a farmer's market, and then I went grocery shopping, and now I'm here.
So suburban. Very married, much wow. I felt young today. I spent it watching anime with my wife today, all day.
Oh, that's a W. That's a huge, huge victory right there.
You would think, right? I've made a discovery.
Wait,
for
what
whatever
did you
reason,
watch
after
now?
years. That's the thing. After years of trying, it turns out that I should have just turned my wife on to shoju.
The alcohol?
No, that's
that's
is that
soju.
an alcohol?
No, it's soju.
No, we were on like the Hulu front page, and Fruits Basket was up there, and I was like, I feel like maybe you'd be into this. And she got super into it to the point that when I left to go to BP on Friday, she watched an entire other one in my absence.
Well, there you go. No, my girlfriend refuses to watch anime.
You gotta find the right ones. I know I opened the door with Death Note, as many do, because Death Note is the intellectual anime. And it was like Death Note. I think the next one I got her to tolerate was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I feel like that is one of the best beginner ones for like, but like, just like in general, I feel like Brotherhood's just so good. But like, the problem with Brotherhood is that like the episodes 3 and 4 are like breakers, because like I don't want to spoil it, even though it's like 20 years old. But like, there's just so much. Yeah, there's like so much emotional toil in the first like 5 episodes, and I feel like that could be overwhelming for some people.
So let me clarify. What I mean, Forensic, is that like it plays out like a shonen, sure, but like it's dark and it's gritty, and also it's not about big muscly dudes shouting for 3 episodes and then punching each other so fast they don't have to animate it. Like, it is a very palatable anime that kind of lands for everyone, that is still like, okay, it's super plot driven, and it's super like, it tries to be smart, and like the tone is great, and that I don't watch enough anime even to know what that word is, so I'm gonna Google it.
So like my thing is like, when it comes to like
it's still like a young facing it. Sure, it's not like trying to be this, mature drama or anything.
Yeah, it's not, Days of Our Lives. It's anime.
But again, it's not, these big muscle-bound dudes shouting and beating the crap out of each other like you get in most other. No, I say most other. There's a world of anime. Like, I grew up on, 2000, early to mid 2000s Toonami. It was all shonen anime. That's the only thing that existed. It was shonen anime and Gundam.
There was that detective show where the detective gets turned into a child.
I know the one you're talking about, but I do not remember the name. And that is
they just put it on Netflix.
There's a different detective anime that I've never remembered the name of. Detective Conan? Okay, well, I'm gonna trust that that's what it is until Doc says otherwise. Because Doc might recognize the name, I won't. But there was a different one that I remember where it was a girl who wanted to solve the mystery of her father's murder and made a pact with a mystery-solving demon who literally ate the mysteries, and it was this weird show. I remember I watched the sub. I don't know that it got a dub, but like every now and again, whenever mystery anime comes up, that's what I think of.
Case Closed is the one, by the way.
Okay.
They figured it out in chat.
I'm Googling case closed now. Okay. I see. Yep, that looks like a show that would be on Toonami at that point. MilkyJ versus Aerodat. Now, as we load in, I'm going to be curious to see how MilkyJ
It's not actually.
plays.
Wait, is it MilkyJ?
Yes.
Because it says viral. Wow, that just must
Oh,
be
don't
that
worry.
way.
You got to look at the overlay. You can't be looking at the name. Names don't matter. Names are what matters.
It's good on my end. But this should be pretty anime-esque. Soul Bad Guy going up to Giovanna. Flames and Dogs. What more can you expect from a good showing?
Look, these are the two characters who were canonically able to beat Nagoriyuki. And the only reason Gio didn't is because he was like, I'm done, and she was like, bet. And then he was like, I was kidding. And then spoke.
Time out. Tag, you're it.
That's basically what happened. He was like, I didn't say no time back in, and then smoked her. Also, I don't think the dog came up in the story mode whatsoever.
She got her ass kicked. I was like, hey, I need some help here. Can you send somebody my way? And they're like, hey, we got hooch for you. Get it.
MilkyJ looking real clean so far. That first round was marginally scrambly for a second. Aerodat now having to rely on that 6S a little bit to open some stuff up, but that throw is going to close it as MilkyJ takes this first round.
First game, even going all the way through.
Sorry.
They did take the first round though, Brad. You were right. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Huge counter into the burst, actually. Just gets the corner carry. Not too big of a combo coming out there. But look at this. You just gotta push buttons. You gotta make the player afraid to egress out of the corner.
Oh my god, 2D. That disjointed hurtbox makes the DP not connect. Gets the super for the wall break. We're gonna get, how does Milky elect to spend some Oki? Okay, goes for the cross up. Double cross up. All right, red RC. YRC from Aerodat to try to get a little bit of space, but this is so little life. Gets caught by the IAD. And this first round of game 2 going to MilkyJ looking clean.
Yeah, Milky's been looking really good tonight on the Giovanna and really blowing up people's souls, but now maybe it's going to be Aerodat's chance to get a little bit of a comeback going. Does get thrown into the corner.
Oh, interesting. Gets the OTG and goes for the IAD back. I think perhaps reading the DP that we've seen represented from Aerodat a couple of times so far. Right, just late cancels into the special to keep this stuff going. Well, this is going to be big damage. Not going to have the meter for the wall break, but instead spends the full charge 5D. Oh, neutral jump H to blow up the flip kicks. Has to spin the burst. Does Aerodat, though, on an errant hit. Super plus frames, dash forward into throw. That's going to close it. It's too much respect from Aerodat as MilkyJ closes it out off of the plus frames on the air super.
It's such a good super in general, not just because of the plus frames too, but when it does hit, it breaks a lot of the screen as well. Breaks the wall, excuse me, through a lot of the screen. So it's such a good option to throw it in neutral if you're not that concerned about using your RC at any point, because like you have the meter, you can spend it. If you on block, it's plus, so you get to do whatever you want afterwards. If it hits, great. It's buku damage and potential wall break. So there's really no negative to throwing it out.
Yeah, I think the difficulty is it's one of those things where like the obvious counterplay is that you would neutral jump, but you know, she can tiger knee the super, and you're so worried about the ground game, and surrendering that space with a neutral jump is so difficult. I guess if you know that you're at like dash 5S range, you can try to neutral jump and like hope that you either make the super whiff or whiff punish the 5S. But it's easier said than done, and you're so focused on playing the ground game, both in this game in general and in particular against Geo, that it's not the thing you're thinking of. You really need to know that that's a thing that your opponent has, sort of, that they're going to rely on. Because not every Geo is going to fish for plus frames off of air super.
No.
Some of them are perfectly content to just wait and spend the ground game, maybe use that meter another way. But there's some that, you know, if they have the bar, they're going to try to bulldoze through neutral and use that 50 tension on the super and bypass the ground game altogether. And, you know, it's a first to 2, and with how explosive that first game was, you don't always get the chance to really get that read before the set is over.
Yeah, especially like we just saw there. And I mean, I'm looking at these numbers, and just a lot of the stuff that she can do, Giovanna can do, is plus, with one of the more negative ones being up dog, being at -4. And It's so funny because I'm looking at the dust loop, and you know we talked earlier about how we're like, we know it's not technically spiral arrow, but it's what it is. That's how it's labeled on dust loop, is spiral arrow. And then
I'm taking that as a W. Dust Loop has the authority on Guilty Gear since I joined the FGC. Speaking of joining, I hope that y'all will join us if you are able to at Boston Blue Beat Extend. That is happening once again. We talked about a little bit earlier. January 8 and 9 at Balance Patch of January 2022. They have the entire venue for Boston Blue Beat, and they're going to be running such games as your usuals, every permutation of Guilty Gear, Xrd, Plus R, and Strive, BBCF and BB Tag, Uniclear, 2 versions of Melty, and new titles for Boston Blue Beat, Them's Fighting Herds, and Skullgirls. We also have coming much sooner, Neo, New England Reloaded, partnering with Casa Bunch and Trace Complete to bring you anime titles, Street Fighters 4 and 5, and Tekken 7, partnering with Red Bull, which I know they were very proud to announce, as well as Kaiten Books. I guess manga is being provided for the top 3 of each bracket. That is a not insignificant amount of brackets to be giving free manga to.
no, not at all. And I mean that's not a bad deal. It makes sense too, right? Like at an anime event, getting manga as a prizes, because it's going to be so much more useful than potentially, you know, in my opinion, another stick or something like that. Because,
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to read an actual book.
I barely even know how to read, so it works out.
Right. I can read when there's beautiful, beautiful pictures next to it, telling a fully engrossing story that stimulates my brain because I'm comprehending words, and my eyes because I'm appreciating the wonderful artistry of manga.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one, Brad. You can you can hold that. Oh boy.
I dug a hole and then jumped right out of it. Did you see how good I did that?
If you say so. But for those of you who are in the region and are looking to get some action a little bit sooner than that January date, we do also have the September monthly on September 25th going down at Platinum City Gaming, which is in, I don't remember the city. Taunton. There we go. Taunton, Massachusetts. So that is another great place to play video games at, and it's a good time. They have full bar. They have some other, you know, arcade style games going on there. And the venue's always super conformative to us here in the FGC. They've been with us here for a long time, and they've given us a lot of support. So definitely love seeing them get a little bit of support back in terms of our monthly.
Yeah, and I'm doing the mental math. I was told yesterday, I think the new Melty launches on September 30, is what I was told. So it's possible that's probably, at least in the region, that's going to be like the last best place to play Melty before the new version launches. So if that's your game, then you probably want to make sure that you are looking to Platinum City Gaming in Taunton and following Boston Blue Beat on Twitter for any other updates, such as, you know, whatever may come down the pipe. But the point is, you're gonna want the news, and you should be following Boston Blue Beat on Twitch and on Twitter so that you have all of that news. And we definitely want to see you at all of these events. And if you haven't already, I know we've not shilled the Matcherino in a little bit, but there is a Matcherino still going on here today for all of our players. You don't have to enter a coupon code anymore. That is one of the changes that Matcherino made a month or 2 ago. You don't need to sit here and hit the coupon code and copy and paste it in. No, all that you need to do is sign in and hit claim code. It could not be easier. Please show some love for the players as they load in for this next match, Oni versus MilkyJ.
The matchup there. We saw a lot during the betas. We've still seen quite a bit here after post-release still, because both characters are still wildly good. You know, we did see a little bit more of them before people were like, Soul Bad Guy is the protagonist of this game, and if you don't play him, you deserve to lose. But I think people are starting to come around again, and now that, you know, Soul seems to be getting a bit of a soft ban due to being too good, we've been seeing a lot more of these two characters, I feel. Oh, it's a huge counter hit. Oh, God.
Yeah, I like that Milky did not elect to spend the burst there. It would have been a bad spot for it, but it's looking like, I'm wondering, is it just a truth of Oni's games that one of the players is not blocking?
Yeah, that time was definitely Milky's turn to not block, but now it's the first non-perfect round we've seen in a hot minute from Oni. But love to see the players going a little bit more back and forth. Oh, wow. Dust into RRC. Instantly wall splats, which is a bit tragic there because you're not going to get that much damage out of it. But now we may be going back to the other side of the wall.
MC gets the jump in. Oh no, the burst! This is one of the strengths of Ram. The second you hit the corner, bursting against her is a Herculean task. Goes for the super defensively at round start. Has to spend the PRC. I mean, you've got the meter. You might as well spend it. But Oni's still in a great spot. Rekka into PRC to open stuff up. Finishing the Rekka chain again. Still has the bar. That's the benefit of the positive bonus and is able to close out this first round, or game rather, is Oni. And what I am being made aware is one of our last 2 games, because this was a Swiss bracket, so we are nearing the point where everyone has played everyone. This could ultimately determine whether we need to see a tiebreaker.
Very true, but until then, we do have to see what the winner of this matchup. And again, we're not big fans of blocking here in this matchup. Both players have just been doing combo route after combo route, and some of them have been pretty safe looking. Let's get the sword throw coming through. Oh man, so cheeky. Like, what are you guys supposed to do there?
2K sword into PRC. Oh my god. Manages to find the unfortunate situation. Is that limb still fully extended? Yes, it is. It does connect. And Oni has burst available. Are we going to see it spent? No, we have the YRC. You did not respect the Rekka cancel after the 5K, and Oni is on set point.
That was really interesting. Watched the YRC, but wasn't able to get any follow-up afterwards. Just tried to use that FB to get a little bit of space, but there goes the pinwheel kick. Gonna make sure that they aren't getting off of him. And we're back to neutral. One sword only, picks up the second.
First, MilkyJ extends forward, but Oni, patient on wake up, does not get caught in the whip trap. Now finishing the Rekka string. Okay, back throw from MilkyJ. This is a good position to be in, but a trade on the IAD unfortunately means that the pressure is ended. Frame traps on the 2K into the 2K. That is going to finish it out. Oni is going to take this another quick 2-0 fashion. Every single match today has been a 2-0.
Wins.
Sometimes that's just the way it is here in the fighting game community, but oh man, I'm trying to, let's see if the uploaded scores are going into the table or not. Let's see, so Oni is currently has a score of 3, which means they have 4 points. The next one down is MilkyJ with 2 points. So I don't think...
Yeah, I think... So I don't know whether we will run a tiebreaker or if by way of the fact that Oni beat Milky means that the tie goes into Oni's favor. We are going to have to find out. But even so, we still have Aerodat and ProtoJay waiting to fill out on what has the overwhelming potential to be our last match of the evening. Short and sweet. I hope that we get to see more of the Kai Kisk here out of ProtoJay. We did not, unfortunately, get to see a whole lot of it in that first round as MilkyJ kind of smothered him offensively right off the rip. Kai is one of those characters, like, I know Kai dances in that bottom 3. Like, I feel like it's pretty agreed upon that the bottom 2 in some capacity is Faust and Anji. I know Kai tends to dance in that conversation down to round out a bottom 3, but I'm not wholly convinced. It might just be that Kai is one of those characters who, like, has a version of every tool, but none of them are good enough, and the game is set out in such a way where, like, being an all-around doesn't really matter because other characters can force their own game effectively enough that being limited in a certain capacity isn't as detrimental as you otherwise might think.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard it from a couple of people now that, like, why play Kai when Soul does all the same stuff, but better? So Kai, I think thematically is cooler. Like, he just looks cooler, in my opinion.
Also, Kai does the only cool thing in the entire story mode.
I still haven't done story mode, so
Look, I'm going to be a hater for about 30 seconds. Everybody talked about how great this story mode is, and sure, compared to other fighting game story modes, if you've never played an NRS title, they're, you know, it's way better than we might be used to, because usually story mode is what you parse together from the arcade mode endings. But, like, the story mode is just Die Hard in the White House with Soul as Bruce Willis. Until the last like 15 minutes, at which point it becomes like something kind of fine. But even so, like Kai is the only one that does anything remotely interesting for the whole story mode.
Are you saying you don't like Die Hard?
I love Die Hard so much so that I would rather watch it. Which incidentally, Die Hard in the White House is also 2 other movies that exist.
Yeah, it's like White House Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen. Olympus Has Fallen, and then there's one other one because there's that weird thing where Hollywood always has 2 studios put out the same version of the same premise at the same time.
Yeah, but it wasn't at the same time. The Fallen movies were way later. But it also drew up
the Fallen movies became a franchise.
Yeah, there's
but
like
the first
4
ones came out at the same time. But it's the same thing as like how you had like Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached. Like they landed within like a year and a half of each other, which in Hollywood time is nothing.
I've literally never heard of either of those.
They are the same movie.
All right. Still never heard.
Like, it's like one of them is Justin Timberlake and Natalie Portman, and the other is Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. I think I might not even have the casting right.
We'll never know.
I know I have the male leads right, and Mila Kunis might not have been it. No, it is Mila Kunis. I think I think the Justin Timberlake one is with Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis, I think. I've received confirmation from my wife in the hallway that I am correct. Justin Timberlake was with Mila Kunis in his version of the same movie. Your version. Thus concludes our rom-coms with Brad M. For Boston Blue Beat Online.
I'm sure that'll be a recurring fan favorite.
Hey, that depends if Boston Blue Beat gets to decide if they like the rom-com powwow.
I just saw the lobby character just violently shake their head no. So that was, I don't know who that is.
Didn't. This person is definitely listening right now and is like, no, Brad, I don't care about these. Go back to talking about how your wife likes shoujin anime.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with shoujin anime.
Shoujin? I don't know.
Should. Anyway, but yeah, back to the anime conversation. I feel very basic because I really love the big flashy fight scenes. Like I used to get in for the same reason. So I had a friend who used to like grill me about liking the Transformers movies because he was like, dude, they're not movies. They're not like cinematic experiences. And I'm like, that's exactly like a cinematic experience because when I go to the cinema, I want to be entertained. I want to just forget the world for 2.5 hours and just watch it happen.
There's a reason you and Camilla get along. She I love to give her crap because she's like, yeah, I didn't hate the Suicide Squad, the first one, the Ayer-ish version of Suicide Squad. She's like, I was thoroughly entertained, and I was like, why? She's like,
I've seen the ending, not a fan, but I haven't seen the whole movie, so.
I'm not talking about the new one. I'm talking about the old one that like had Jared Leto in it. The new one is fine.
I liked the new one a lot. I thought it was super funny. I was dying laughing like
it's funny. It's entertaining. I am not sure. I get the impression that one was like Marvel won't let me make an R-rated Guardians, so I'm going to.
Yeah, because that was when he was fired for his 10-year-old tweets. But yeah,
but it was real fun, and like finally DC was like, let's let someone do some fun and interesting things. Like the fact that it's not a spoiler to say Starro was in the movie because he's in the first trailer. The fact that Starro is in the movie, like Starro is one of those characters that I'm like, there's no way Warner Brothers will actually let that stuff happen because they're so obsessed with sky lasers and grimdark tones.
And then it happened.
And making every character
was pretty
Batman.
good too.
Birds of Prey was good.
Every character.
Look, I have been a DC fan for a long time, and
I'm so sorry.
All of my favorite characters have slowly become Batman, and it's like, please, please stop it.
Oh man, I can't wait for the next Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. It's gonna be
I am
great.
so about that because here's one. You want to know a character that I don't hate being Batman? Batman. You can let Batman be Batman. I'm totally on board. That's what I'm signing up for. Don't make Superman Batman. Don't make Green Arrow Batman either.
Don't make Wonder Woman Batman.
Green Arrow can be social as Batman. I'm all about that. If Green Arrow's like, I abuse due process by beating the shit out of people that keep their money in the Cayman Islands, I'm about it.
Kind of what the TV show Arrow was about.
It was. I loved the Arrow TV show for a while.
It didn't end great. I haven't seen the last like season though, so it could have gotten good again.
At season 5, and it was season 5 of Arrow did the same thing that made me stop watching it that Naruto the manga did, where I loved the ending of season 5 of Arrow, where it was like Prometheus had been the best villain the show had had in a while, and it really ended with like, and then we blew up an island with every character on it, and I was like, oh my god, you madmen. Which is the same thing I thought when Pain attacked the Leaf Village in Naruto and they killed like 5 supporting characters. And I missed the next entry of both. And I was like,
heard this story so many times.
Well, you know what? The viewers on Boston Blue Beat haven't, and they get to experience this pain as I rip open my wound anew. View upon my scars as I have been burned by bad, low-stakes writing. Because in both situations, they threatened the supporting cast with character death, and I went, wow, we're really changing it up. And then I missed the next episode, and someone looked at me and they were like, oh, you missed it? Everyone is fine. And I was like, oh, nothing matters. No stakes are manufactured. It doesn't matter. Batman is an anarchist who doesn't know what he's doing. No, you see, here's the thing about Batman. Batman is actually the smartest character in the world, and no matter what he's up against, if he has prep time and an author who likes him, and more of the second than the first, he will win no matter what. I have a chip on my shoulder about Batman.
Batman definitely has the plot armor, but I remember reading once, like, Batman would 100% do more good for Gotham spending his money on altruistic venues than beating the shit out of poor people in the streets. Like, if he set up...
SNL did a skit about that where they were at Wayne Manor doing like a Wayne Manor charity dinner, and everyone that came through was just complaining about how like their cousin got the shit kicked out of him by Batman because they sold a dime bag on the street or something.
Yeah, like set up a homeless shelter. Don't beat him up.
At least Green Arrow is like, I beat up, you know, sex trafficking multi-billionaires.
Yeah, and you know, if they die, they die. It's whatever.
Back fist.
Oh man, it's so true.
Oh, we got
it's so wild.
Off track here.
Yeah, well, we had time to kill, just like Arrow kills the affluent. It's fine. But we're finally heading into our last match of the night. More than likely, it is going to be Aerodat going up against ProtoJay. So more of that Kai Kisuke that you were looking for. Hopefully, they actually get to play the game this time.
I do think this is not okay. This is not. We have not seen ProtoJay play into this matchup at all. What I do wonder is whether Aerodat is going to present a similar problem to what MilkyJ did, which is that you can operate at a range that's just close enough to where Kai wants to play that ProtoJay might feel as though he doesn't get the chance to start.
Yeah, a lot of that coming through with that 6S. It's so tough to avoid, but it does so well when you can finally avoid it. Definitely going to get punished for that one.
Another thing is, like, you've got Viper as an option that can low profile under 5S. 2S does not get it off the ground. Finds the throw on the Bannerbringer. Gets the frame trap off the 5K this time. There's the blue RC mix that I was talking about. Gets the fuzzy mix, but does not finish the job.
And they're just going to get beat on the sword hurt box. And there's that Viper you were talking about. Low profiling, a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, it's a huge mid-screen 6S, and that'll be enough to close out.
Yeah, that was definitely a better round than I think ProtoJay had against MilkyJ. I knew it was another J. I was like, MilkyJ? No, it's not MilkyJ. But I was thinking about that because I think MilkyJ was in the chat when I was on MilkyJ. Melting is ProtoJay's life bar as straight back to this P1 side corner. PRC back to early with the stage. On stage goes away off of the pulse range as Aerodat. His own offense. 6H? I'm sorry, you do not get to cheat forward into any of this.
Oh, actually interrupts the fireball. Does get the knockdown into the heavy fireball plus the shock state. Tries to go for a bit of a raw dust there. Not going to work out though. And is this truly... Oh, it's a 0. I was like, is this truly set point already? But no, it's just match 1 point. And the pixels were beating my eyes.
Sometimes that's what happens. You need to be prepared for all of the pixels. Aerodat was ready with the pixels on the screen. He manifested his own destiny. 1 game up now over ProtoJay.
The shock state, unfortunately for ProtoJay, just hasn't been able to be utilized to its fullest extent, which is potentially a Kai problem to be discussed. But right now, trying to get something done, definitely on the worser end of these trades, though. Burst to keep pressure going, though. Another huge cut on it.
The way that Aerodat has been using and you know what, in general, close up, Aerodat in the Soul matchup earlier today, I talked about the utilization of defense. So comfortable bringing out the farthest reach Soul has to ensure that in a matchup where it's at the spacing deficit, still represents
We're gonna get a dust. Doesn't finish it though. Another huge knockdown though. Gets the heavy fireball. Shock state applied. Oh, empty burst, but no combo after it from ProtoJay.
I did not believe in the punish from David Bringer. Aerodat busts out the DP. Straight back to the side corner. ProtoJay has the burst. Has to spend it. Has some bar with the red RC. Now trying to bring us close to the corner. Are we going to get the wall splat? Does not go for the rival lightning. Instead just gets the raw wall break. But you do not have to take that being a risky. I almost wonder whether we would have been better off breaking the wall with the rival lightning. Super projectile on a single piece. Once again, we're seeing more of these not converting into anything, even on block. But the tick throw works out in his favor. ProtoJay gets around the
Yeah, we do finally get the classic Kai grab where you just run half the screen and connect. And it's interesting that we saw the super fireball there. You know, this isn't like Zato where you get, you know, the meter back and you get a lot of pressure to be then applied. It's just kind of a bigger, heavy fireball.
Yeah, I think it definitely feels to me as though ProtoJay doesn't strictly speaking have the final game. Like the number of situations but lightning, we do get the wall splat. This is more what I want. That type of thing is 2P, the critical wall stage, stall the forward offense once again. Oh, that deep.
So brutal to deal with because it was just looking like ProtoJay was going to get some kind of space left, but goes for the burst phase. But they just hold on to it, which is smart from ProtoJay. Now they're back on the aggressive side again. Got to watch out for that DP.
So that's a real shame. I wonder, I don't know what the damage would have been, but that 2K2D, if we had read the lightning again, that would have been burst safe from the super to the wall break and potentially killed. So ProtoJay may have played a little fast and loose there, but managed to close out the round anyway, despite potentially himself. I'm not going to determine this simply say. ProtoJay, I assume, what works and what doesn't. So we are a one game apiece. The first one game apiece of the game.
Gets the throw, gonna set up the fireball one more time. She's been working out quite nicely for ProtoJay. Finally gonna get a counter hit, but no connection afterwards. The move has happened a couple times, and it just hasn't been a combo after it.
A great backdash to whiff punish the whiff back near. Corner, he's through, does Aerodat.
Oh, nicely looking problematic though. Lots of Aaron hints coming through here for Aerodat. And is whittling away the life bar here of ProtoJay. That's a huge Fafnir. Hard knockdown in place into the double dash wild throw.
Doc, I have to ask you, what's your favorite preparation of ProtoJay?
Big fan of mashing them.
Damn it! Thought I was gonna catch you there. Caught him with the 6S, did Aerodat. Getting away with that nearly full screen. ProtoJay. Aerodat playing a little bit calmer outside of far S ramp.
Oh, finally gonna whip that 6H though, gets the back throw, sets up the fireball again. Dust gonna get YRC'd? That's interesting take.
Yeah, the YRC was on the last tick of the heavy fireball. I think it was just about avoiding the mixing altogether. Had the meter to spare. Oh, PRC, oh, you could have chased with the air throw. Instead, the hungry 2H gets double jumped away from. It's neutral now, but Aerodat decisively has the life advantage here. You may not even get the chance to burst the ProtoJay depending on the hit kills.
Yeah, if you get hit by
Ride the lightning,
6H, you're
please.
dead.
Oh, man.
That might be enough anyway. Does get the wall stick.
That's fine. I panicked for a second. I was like, you should load the lightning. He'd have been dead. But it's fine. You converted. Final round, potentially of the lead here. Aerodat versus ProtoJay.
Oh wow, let's stay at the same side. That's shocking to me. But now it is the sole bad guy game plan of get you to the corner and then kill you to death. And this is going to be looking very close. Gets the wall break, and this is looking nigh impossible for ProtoJay.
Well, the 2P Ash that's might mix up blocks. But again, that's another spot where it's like the 2P Ash. I'm pretty sure like you could even go like that spot where you're figuring it's comparatively guaranteed. As Aerodat, I guarantee you he pulls out this round on that 6H. It's pretty easy to guarantee when we're at the round win screen. But the point is, like all these spots where you're mashing the 2P, like you could go like, you know, 2 or 5P, 6P into the overhead swing and get something. You know, there's a lot of just kind of leaving stuff on the table, and it would be one thing if it was like we're gonna mash the 2P or the 5P through the string, and then, you know, if it lands in the scramble situation after the fact, make something happen. And that's not what we were seeing. We were seeing that like it might as well have been nothing.
Yeah, it was like an interruption to just relay pressure and, you know, make sure you're not getting like completely stonewalled out. But like you said, if it doesn't bring anything else to the table, it's like going out to a restaurant and all you get is bread and butter, and that's your meal, and they charge you $80. Like that's not enough. That's not enough to feed you through the day. So even though it is a part of the dinner, you need some protein in there. You need some combos to follow it up with, and that just wasn't coming from ProtoJay that round, unfortunately.
So with that, Aerodat closes that out, technically ends up, so the challenge bracket is finalized, which does mean that was the last round of the evening. There will not be a tiebreaker. Aerodat at third, MilkyJ at second, and Oni undefeated at first.
Yeah, so congratulations to Onikage. I'm sure you guys do still have a couple minutes left to go ahead and hit that Matcherino as well. Just type !Matcherino in the chat, and it's as simple as clicking claim code now. There's no typing, there's no copy pasting. All you got to do is pull up the Matcherino page, sign in, and click claim code, and 50 cents of free magic money goes into the player's pocket. So be sure to support that at any chance you get.
And obviously, those of you who've been watching with us, this has been Boston Blue Beat. This is the online face of the monthly, but we got offline events coming at you as well. Thankfully, we are able to do that now. Please make sure that you're vaccinating and wearing your masks and being responsible so that we can keep doing this. But on September 25th, once again, will be the next offline monthly that Boston Blue Beat is bringing you. They're at Platinum City Gaming, not at Balance Patch for this particular month. Boston Blue Beat Extend, the big premier, multifaceted online event, is coming at you. Did I say Extend? I meant Neo. September 18 and 19, partnering with Casa Bunch and Trace Complete, hitting at you with your anime favorites, Street Fighters 4 and 5, and Tekken. And that is partnered with Red Bull and Kaiten Books, who are kind enough to provide manga to the top 3 of each bracket. What I was saying about Blue Beat Extend, January 18 and 19, January 8 and 9, rather, all of Balance Patch available just for Boston Blue Beat with your favorite titles, BB's Tag and CF, Guilty Gear's Xrd, Plus R, and Strive, Uniclear, 2 versions of Melty, and new titles for Boston Blue Beat, Them's Fighting Herds, and Skullgirls. I'm very excited for the possibility of, you know, going out and being able to attend these events, see everybody coming out in force, so long as we are all able to still do so. Obviously, so as I had said, make sure that you're being safe out there, still doing your due diligence. Offline FGC is back. We obviously all love being able to put on these online events, but, you know, people are hungry to be in the room and hitting the buttons with your opponent. So make sure that you're doing what you can so we can continue to keep doing that now that it's back for us.
We do want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight with us, everybody who supported the stream, supported the match Reno. But with that, we're going to congratulate Oni one more time on the victory here tonight. Undefeated, by the way. And we are going to be closing it out. Thank you, everybody, once again. I am the Doctor, being joined by Brad Muse. Hit us up on Twitter at It's Brad Muse and at The Doctor Is In. And be sure to follow at Boston Blue Beat for all of your future anime gaming needs. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.